Hey there, friends. Dave Paulides, CanAm Missing Project. That is our executive producer, Huck L. Berry. Huck, she's a good girl. Oh, she's a good girl. Yes, you good puppy. Oh, yes, you good puppy. Yes, you are a good girl. She told me today, she goes, Dad, I hope these viewers have a great New Year's. I'm going to have one with you. We're just going to hang out in the house and stay warm. She did go out today and run around like a crazy girl. It was like 10 degrees outside. But her coat is so thick, you guys just wouldn't believe it. She actually goes outside and lays on the snow on her tummy. And it doesn't bother her. She could lay there for an hour. Very, very unusual dog. And a good demeanor. If you're looking for a good dog, Pyrenees are outstanding. But I should tell you, they shed a lot. A lot. But great demeanor, loyal, friendly. So this is a year-end special edition. I'll look back on 2025 for Missing 411. And before we get into that, I heard something today on the news that talked about getting up every morning. Yeah, getting up every morning. We're laying in bed. Before we spin around and put our feet on the floor, we have great control over our day. Your attitude, your health. As you get older, you wake up and you say, thanks for allowing me to wake up to another day. Because I know some friends of mine right now that it's touch and go. So I think we have a lot to be grateful for. The people we talk about here, I always think about their relatives, family, friends. And when somebody disappears and there's no answers and there's confusion and you don't have a lot of help, it really takes a toll on you. I know. So when I wake up every morning, my first job is to go down, get Huck, put on my super warm coat, and take her outside and go to the bathroom. And I know that's one reason why I have to get up every morning. Then I feed her breakfast. So in a lot of ways, I feel needed just by her. And I know a lot of people don't like animals, but animals bring a special bond between you and the world. And I know that that bond will be forever. Because I've had so many different dogs. And it's always the same. But I'm not going to get into a lot of that. But just things to be grateful for. A lot of people have said that dogs are the angels here on earth. I could see that sometimes. I could see that. All right. The show. What I'm going to do in this show is I'm going to review some of the videos I made. Now, these aren't the most popular ones. These aren't the ones with the most views. These are the ones that you sent me an email or a private message and commented about it. No, not the ones with the most messages on the video itself either, no. So it's kind of a unique blend. And we're going to start off right away with the 3 boys missing from Turtle Creek Lake in Kansas. They were all sailing instructors. That's number 1. And they were all, unbelievably, Eagle Scouts. This is the video. They went out. They had a day off of school at the university. They were all best buddies. They were all great swimmers. The lake wasn't that large. So, they're sailing instructors, the Eagle Scouts, they're all great swimmers. They're all best buddies. They all disappear. They eventually find their small sailboat with the keel detached from the boat. They found one boy. They didn't find the other two. I find that just absolutely unbelievable. And so did law enforcement at the time. And they kind of felt that, well, maybe the body's going to show up over time. No, it never did. Never did. Now, under some circumstances, I could kind of rationalize this away. Well, they weren't that familiarized with the area, or they weren't that good as swimmers, or they didn't know the boat that well. None of that's true. What other skills could these boys have had that would have prevented this? I have no idea. Which is why I made it one of the cases to review. Now, case number 2, these are in no specific order, by the way, was a very recent case. Charles Hosh, missing Texas attorney. He's on his way back from a short break and stops in Georgia at a place he's hiked before. It's called Blood Mountain. Yeah, Blood Mountain. Charles is in great health. He's a stellar attorney. He's also a professor of law. Witnesses saw him at the summit. Communicated a bit. They believe they saw him starting to walk down. The trail is very obvious. I actually know a person that went and searched. Nobody could understand what happened. He wasn't suicidal. He had a very thriving business, married. This makes no sense. This isn't a rugged mountain range. No, it's not. And when I've told you before that canines can pick up a scent of a body miles away, they should have picked up his scent. To think that he's never found, I don't buy it. That dog don't hunt. Easy mountain, seen on the trail, hiked it before. Now the next case. This one got Dave's ire up, which is why I did so many videos about it. And I did a lot. Now I should tell you this. All of the videos for the cases I'm talking about are under the #1 pinned search on this video. All of these links will be up on that pinned search 3 hours after the video goes up. So if you haven't watched them, now you go back and watch them, please. All the links will be there. Please watch them. This case involves Lily and Jack Sullivan, missing from Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. Now on this case, I did several videos, multiple videos. And they weren't repetition. They were updates, my comment on what the police did, didn't do. Now, they supposedly disappeared the morning hours of May 2nd, 2025, outside the family's home trailer at Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. Now, there's woods surrounding this property. So the police start searching the area around the trailer. They were last seen by the family outside the trailer. So it was stated. Multiple searches produced nothing. A couple of the searchers actually contacted me and said, Dave, this isn't an easy area to search. There's a lot of trees that have fallen. There's a lot of hiking over these trees. It's tiring. I can't see these kids going very far. Now, there were a lot of rumors on this case. First of all, the wife was a First Nations person. And it appears to me that the police were intimidated by that and weren't doing their job because of that. There were rumors of relationship issues between the husband and the wife. There was a rumor that one of the parents were forced out of the property after the disappearance. There was also a rumor that the father passed a polygraph test. Police never confirmed that I saw. When two kids disappear, it is absolutely off the charts unusual. And the police are the only advocates to find kids sometimes. There's also a rumor that a neighbor heard a car going to and from the residence during the nighttime hours. Police never really cleared that up, whether they could confirm it happened or it didn't, or a neighbor said that they thought they heard that. Well, if they did, that would be important. What would be somebody coming to and from the residence during the weird hours? You're going to see my comments in all these videos I did on this. And as somebody who's worked on missing children cases, this isn't something you take lightly, and you don't put rookie detectives on cases that are big like this. A lot at stake in these instances. They actually went back multiple times and searched that area around the house in the woods. Never got anything. So, where are the kids? Well, there's kind of an innuendo that maybe somebody took the kids. They lived adjacent to a road, a paved road. It's possible, but parents never said that they heard a car pull up while they were in their bedroom and the kids were outside. I don't know. Next title. The Dinky Creek Cluster. Many of you said you like this. I got a lot of comments about it. Dinky Creek is an area of the U.S. forest east of Fresno, California. It's surrounded on multiple sides by Yosemite to the north, Kings Canyon, and Sequoia National Park to the east and the southeast. It's in a very unusual spot, being surrounded by 3 national parks like this. I did 9 videos on various disappearances out of there. One of the videos I did was on a missing Air National Guard commander, retired. He's seen on a trail. He told family was going to go on the Star Lakes hike. He was seen on a trail adjacent to there. Maybe he got on the wrong trail. He was seen resting. Everything seemed okay, people said. He was carrying a small pistol with snake shot in it because he knew that there were snakes out there. He was trained survivalist in the military, being in the woods. Massive search for this man because they had seen him on the trail and his truck was still there. Never found. Another story, an older one, an IRS divisional director from the IRS in Fresno went hunting in Dinky Creek area, disappeared. Almost half the office in Fresno loved the guy. They went out there, they searched with law enforcement and with U.S. Forest Service for weeks. His car was found, he was never found. Another missing hunter case, fairly recent. He was a contractor in great shape, hiked the area and hunted the area many times in the past. People had seen him out there hunting. He disappeared, never found. In all these cases, there were massive searches. So why this specific area? Where did the bodies go? How could they never have been found? Remember, rifles, canteens, backpacks, they never go away. They stay forever. Those metal frame backpacks, they stay forever. Dinky Creek is a really, really strange place. The last case involves an Asian backpacker, Japanese descent. He disappeared back in there, hiking alone. All of these people alone. Obviously, the hunters off trail, which is the danger of being a hunter and going out alone. If you are a hunter and you are alone, you are crazy not to carry a personal locator beacon. Because as someone who's done it, I did it in Australia with my significant other, I'm hiking along, slipped on a big, huge boulder, fell, broke my lower right leg. Yeah, I did. So I'm the prime example of somebody, you don't go out alone without a personal locator beacon. This area of Dinky Creek is easily accessible from the city of Fresno. It's just east of there. How many cases have occurred in Dinky Creek? I really don't know. I'm sure I've missed several. It's possible for sure. And how far back do the disappearances go? Well, I found one from the 1930s. I'm sure that they happened before. Oh yeah. Trust me. I will readily admit my faults. The next group of missing people is missing German physicists. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you flat out, nobody discovered this until I did. The first physicist I'm going to talk about is a man named Reinhard Kirchner. He was a physicist for a German company. He came to the USA several times because he liked vacationing here. That's Reinhard. He was single. He had a girlfriend. The girlfriend was scheduled to meet him in Las Vegas at the end of his trip, and they were going to vacation some more. He flew into Vancouver, Canada, and he rented a truck camper, like a cab over camper. And he drove to Arizona. He stopped on Native American reservation property adjacent to the Grand Canyon, but in a gorge not associated with the Grand Canyon, but close. He parked his car, got out, hiked. Well, over a long period of time, several days, some people were running cattle out there and sheep and reported to the tribal police that this truck had been parked there a long time. They call the state police. The state police comes out, they run down, and they figure out that Reinhard had rented this in British Columbia. And as the police were there handling the truck like a crime scene, which they should, other people that were running the cattle and the sheep out there walked up to talk to the state policeman. It's a true story. It's in the reports I have. And they stated to the police that after this truck drove up, they saw it drive up and park. Soon after that, they saw UFOs flying in the sky over the truck. Fact. What's that all about? I don't know. But it was in the police reports, so I'm guessing the police thought it was credible Otherwise, why put it in there? Now, in the gorge right adjacent to this truck was U.S. Fish and Wildlife biologists down in the creek river at the bottom of the gorge doing research. Searchers went down and talked to them. They said they never saw anybody. They never saw Reinhardt. So there was a massive search of the area. Reinhardt was never found. His remains have never been found. What happened to Reinhard Kirchner is an absolute mystery. And you couple that with the UFO noting in the police report? I'm sorry. Can't make this stuff up. Now, the next physicist is a man named Carl Disch. German heritage. This is Carl. He's an ionospheric physicist working for Boulder Labs in Colorado. He was assigned to work at the Byrd Ice Station in Antarctica. And on May 8th, 1965, he was working at the ionospheric station, and he was going to walk back to the main building. Now, between the buildings there, they had ropes that in bad weather, you hold on to the ropes so you don't get lost. Well, he's traveling between buildings May 8th, 1965, and he vanishes. There's a massive search by everyone at the station. All the different countries get involved. There was reports that the searchers heard strange sounds in the sky and saw strange lights in the sky. One of the managers of the station got mad and said, no, that's not true, and then overrode what the others had said. Now, soon after Disch disappeared, his best friend at the station was a husky dog. A dog. And weirdly, soon after he disappeared, the dog disappeared. How many times have I told you that dogs disappear often in conjunction with people? And how dogs are uniquely tied to disappearances? Again, I can't make it up. It's true. The next physicist is a man named Aliof Krost, a professor of physics from Magdeburg, Germany. And he came to the United States for a conference. And I go into a lot of detail about what the conference is about in the video. So he's attending the conference at Lake Arrowhead above Los Angeles, up in the mountains, way up in the mountains. If you've never been to Lake Arrowhead, you should go. It's beautiful. And he was at the conference a couple days, and the conference was offering a guided hike up through the mountains. And the hotel had some professional guides, one in the front, one in the rear, take a group of 15 people. And Krost said, yeah, I wanted to go. So near the middle of the hike, he started to feel bad. So he falls off to the back of the group. And at the same time he's feeling bad, the rear guide also feels bad. And they both stopped. Now, why is this important? Well, if you followed me for any time at all, oftentimes the people involved that disappear feel ill right before they disappear. And there's this point of separation. Well, Krost and the guide sit down, and Krost, after several minutes, says, I think I feel good enough. I'm just going to go back on the trail and catch up with the group. The guide says, hey, I still don't feel good. I'm going to just wait here a while more. Krost takes off, never does catch the group. The group gets back to the hotel. Eventually, the rear guide gets back to the hotel. They're counting heads. Krost isn't there. The guide says, well, I hiked the trail back that he was on. I saw him on it. And I never saw him on that trail. So where'd he go? So they get a group of guides. They go back out on the trail. They search it till dark. They don't find them. And they call the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff sends out a helicopter with FLIR, ground pounders, ATVs, canines. They search for days. They got nothing. They have nothing. So Cross' daughter actually flies out from Germany and goes out with the sheriff's office in their helicopter, and they show him the area that he disappeared in. She's flabbergasted that they can't find him. Well, that's number 3, never found. Number 4. Stefan Bissert, citizen of Germany, 23 years old, missing January 20th, 1992, Olympic National Park, getting his PhD in physics at Oregon State. Oh, he's not just any student. He's a Fulbright scholar on an exchange program with Germany and Oregon State. They had a break from school on January 20th, and he went with a fellow German student friend to hike Olympic National Park. They get up to the park, and they decide to split up and meet at a point about 20 plus miles away. Both young, both in good shape. But it's January 20th. Friend eventually arrives taking the easy route. Stefan never arrives. Friend notifies the National Park Service. There's a giant search. Stefan's never found. Well, let's put that in perspective. This happened in 92. So you got 33 years, Stefan's still never been found. Where'd he go? What happened to him? A brilliant young man. Where'd he go? Let's go over this. Cross, professor from Germany, age 62, missing October 1st, 2013. Bissert, student, resident of Germany, 23 years old, missing January 20th, 92. Carl Disch, ionospheric physicist, age 26, missing May 8th, 65. Kirchner, physicist, resident of Germany, missing April 1st, 2007. The dates of the disappearance, May 8th, 65. The next one, January 20th, 92. 27 years. The next disappearance, April 1st, 2007. 15-year difference. Next one, October 1st, 2013. 6 years. As I've stated before, you separate these by a number of years and people tend to forget about them. Locations: Antarctica, Olympic National Park, Lake Arrowhead, tribal lands in Arizona. All very remote regions of our world. Ages 23 and 26, 61 and 62. There's like 2 groups there, you notice that? 23 and 26, 61 and 62. All German, all missing outside of Germany. Next case, I find this one fascinating, and we had a ton of comments about it. I encourage you to watch it. So, he's white male in the Gulf of America on a cruise out of Texas, having a few drinks. He doesn't remember anything except waking up and floating in the Gulf, looking at the cruise ship move away. Can you imagine that? He survives. But his story will stun you. Trust me. How did he end up in the water without drowning? Why did he even wake up if he doesn't remember anything? So watch this story. The link is there. Next one is missing in Yellowstone National Park. It's a man named Austin King. I did several videos about it. He disappeared in 2024, but his family and friends came back multiple times in 2025 searching again. He was employed at Yellowstone National Park as a park contractor. Went to hike a mountain in 2024, disappeared. Family and friends made multiple attempts, never found him. One thing I want to say is people unrelated to the family sometimes contact us and say, hey, Dave, I want you to get involved in this or that. And I always tell them, we don't get involved like that. If the family wants us to get involved, yeah, we'll get involved. But short of the family or law enforcement or national parks, nope, we're not getting involved. Too many politics, too many feelings involved. Unless the family's there and the family gives us a thumbs up, nope, we're not getting involved. Just want that clarity 100%. Next case. 4-year-old missing Australian boy in the outback. Oh, and this is a doozy case. Yeah, this is a doozy case. He was playing outside the ranch house. His grandma said he was there 1 minute, gone the next. Multiple massive searches. If you see the area, there's not a lot of ground cover. His name was Austin Lamont. He was never found. I had tons of comments come back. Yes, the family structure involved here is different. I hesitate to say that the police had never encountered something like this before, and I'm sure mistakes were made along the way. Austin Lamont, never found. When Ben was going to Miami, Ohio, I would often show up a day or two before the game he was playing in. And I'd like to watch their practice. We'd go to dinner for a couple nights. But during the day, I was generally not doing much. And then I found out about a series of disappearances around that campus, Miami, Ohio. And their staff there gave me all kinds of great reports. I wrote about them in my books. Well, recently I came across a case of a man missing from UCLA that really matched a man that disappeared from Miami, Ohio. Both were students, both were good students, both were conservative, hardworking, good people. The student from Miami, Ohio, Ron Taman, he's the one right here. When he disappeared, it was huge news all throughout Ohio. Soon after he disappears, one of the college administrators is at a location in southern New York, right on the Pennsylvania border, at a remote restaurant, small little hotel. And he sees a group of men sitting at a table, and he swears Ron Taman was one of the men sitting at that table. He gets up to use the bathroom and talk to his wife, and he comes back and the group is gone. He ran outside and looked, couldn't find him. Ron Taman had a brother that lived in LA that was recently talked to about this, and he said nobody ever heard from Ron after he disappeared from the campus. Very strange that these college men, and there's a few college women that have disappeared, and they were extremely stable, good, solid students that you wouldn't expect to disappear. It's like something nefarious at a very high level is going on that we don't understand. Now, the next case is just very bizarre. 2 women disappear. 4 days. 2 days apart. One is in California. The Asian lady, very successful, lived in San Diego, goes missing. Several days later, some people are up at a park, remote area in a park, and they swear that they're hearing noises come out of a storm drain with no access points, just a storm drain with huge metal covers on them. Well, they call the park people. They said, no, we need the sheriff and we need fire. Eventually they get there. Took them a long time to finally get one grate open. And then they send one of the people down with oxygen, because down in those holes, you never know what's in there as far as oxygen. And they finally find this woman way in the middle of these small little tubes, and she's barely alive. They get her out and she dies. Very little ever came out about that. The one thing that did come out is nobody understood how she got in there, why she was in there, because she was a successful person. And the other case with this video is something equally strange about a woman disappearing. So, watch it. The last case. A ton of comments about this. 2 retired Navy SEALs and park rangers vanish in Yellowstone National Park. Both men were great swimmers, great with a canoe, great with a boat, essentially lived their lives on the water, ran boat excursions. So what they decided to do was to take a canoe out on one of the lakes in Yellowstone and kind of camp on the lake shore, take a cruise around. Brothers. So they took the excursion together. They disappeared, and there's a big search. Obviously, these men would be the last people on Earth anyone would expect to disappear on water. SEALs train in extremely cold water off San Diego. And one of the brothers spent his life teaching people how to maneuver on a boat on water. It's a fascinating story. I encourage you to watch it. Again, the links to all these videos are under the #1 pinned comment, and they'll go up 3 hours after this video goes up live. Huck and I really appreciate you and hope that you have a great, great New Year's. Prosperous, happy, and watching the CanAm Missing Project on YouTube. Be safe. Continue that kindness. Paulides out.